Welcome everyone to CDO's magazine series of one-on-one interviews with CDOs, data leaders, and key influencers. I'm your host, Robert Lutton, Vice President, Sandhill Consultants, and I'm coming to you today from Toronto, Canada, working with the CDO magazine, the MIT CDO IQ Symposium, and the International Society of Chief Data Officers. Today, I'd like to introduce Josh Peterson, who is the Interim Director of the Health Plan Business Intelligence at Kaiser Permanente. Welcome, Josh.
Thank you, Robert. I appreciate it. Truly appreciate the opportunity to talk to you in CDO magazine.
Would you have any recommendations? I know that you say, deeply knowledgeable on the business would be one, but any kind of thoughts on a kind of profile to help an organization look for such visionary leaders?
Sure. And like I said, I'm sure that most folks would suggest, the typical, profile, computer science, undergrad, maybe doing a little bit of advanced degree work. But I'm someone who has literally tried a little bit of everything. We talked about that a little bit earlier before we started the interview. So I tried a little bit of everything over my 20 plus year career. And I think the diversity of experience is absolutely key. I know for me, I may look at problems a bit differently. And I think the most important things, of course, are, having that technical expertise, but also being, it's okay to ask, those, quote unquote, those stupid questions, right? Because sometimes it may not be stupid. Maybe it stops and causes folks to think a little bit deeply as opposed to, that automated response. Also, as alluded to before, having, some of, business experiences is also key as well. So you can really be that advisor. Lastly, I would say that leader profile should also reflect, the person's ability to adapt to rapid change. As things change so rapidly in our space. So, just having that flexibility, that mental flexibility is a must. Gone are the days of completing a big strategic effort and resting on your laurels for years, right? You have to think, when you're done, you have to think about, okay, what's next?
There's a term, "what have you done for me lately," come to mind.
Yeah.
So business knowledge, diversity, rapid change. And I love the point you made that there's no silly questions. There's no stupid questions because you need to understand, you need to get to it. So thank you for that, Josh. Moving on to another one of your key areas that you've got a lot of skills and knowledge in is strategy. And with your experience in creating enterprise data strategy and roadmaps, what would you suggest would be the key points that you'd like to offer an organization to focus on to get a high return quickly?
Sure. And I'm sure you all heard this before, but you have to get buy-in from your partners throughout the entire organization. As a data and analytics organization, we must be seen as a key strategic partner to the business and to the organization as a whole. And if we provide, that real economic value to even one business within the organization, that could cascade. Other business leaders then ask, me, hey, how can, my team help them achieving the organizational goals, right? So as I alluded to, the voluntary termination model and the readmission model that my team had built, the business leaders are like, this is so cool, and can we have more? And I say, sure, we can have more, but that means that I have to go to my boss and say, I need more data scientists. So it's kind of like one of those things where, you kind of, build it up and you have to feed the monster. So
now, one of the things that you've mentioned before is that talking about talent within an organization. And it's something we've also heard from several other CDOs that there's definitely a common theme on recognizing the importance of developing talent within an organization. Can we ask, what's your view on talent development, talent acquisition?
Sure, Robert. So I'm sure you've heard from other data leaders and CEOs across the spectrum that there's a dearth of data and analytics talent, right?
We have, yes, indeed.
Yes.
somewhat of a skill shortage, yes.
Yes. Especially, in the AI ML space, right? And so, I recently tried to convert one of my contractors who had, built some of these models that I had alluded to. I offered him more money than the competing company because
Right.
I had a little bit of insight, right? But it wasn't just about the money. He said he was in love with the tech stack that this organization had. It was a younger organization, much more agile. It didn't have any legacy infrastructure systems to deal with, so you could be a lot more agile, right? And so, so not only do we have to be competitive from a monetary perspective, but we have to make sure that we have the infrastructure that is easy to play in and it has the least amount of friction, so these talented individuals can really focus on their craft. That being said, it's absolutely crucial that we leverage our existing talent as well.
We'd like to thank you for your time today. We really appreciate it. And we certainly hope we get a chance to come back and share your knowledge and experience, especially the cool things that you're doing with Kaiser Permanente. So thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Robert. I appreciate it.
And for our listeners, please visit cdumagazine.tech for additional interviews. Thank you.